But I'm afraid we start with troubling news, and please note that the following story contains graphic details about child abuse. The community of Eldorado Park is reeling after the parents of two toddlers were arrested on charges of attempted murder and defeating the ends of justice. The victims are a 2-year-old boy and his 4-year-old sister. Their mother has confirmed to police that her partner had been sexually abusing the children. The little girl is now in a critical condition in hospital after she was repeatedly assaulted, allegedly by her father this week. Both parents are expected in court today. Anti-drug activist Dereleen James has visited the family home last night. The Action SA MP believes drugs and substance abuse could also have been behind the spate of abuse and murders of women and children that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. Let's get more from Dereleen James, who joins us now via our video link. And it's great to have you on the program. Thanks as always for making time for the SABC News channel. And on what a troubling story this is, Dereleen. Perhaps let's take a couple steps back. How did you get wind of what might have been taking place in this home?
I received a phone call early yesterday morning, and it was from the perpetrator's mum, and just asking me to come and see her. I then later received several WhatsApp messages from various community members telling me what has happened in Extension 9, in Extension 1, and it's just way too quiet. I then proceeded to the mother of the perpetrator, and the community explained to me what had happened. It was sad at that point that SABC didn't process the crime scene. It was sad to listen to what actually happened to this little girl. She was being brutally violated from 8 o'clock the morning until 2 o'clock the afternoon. Videos has been sent to me where she's screaming and crying, where her dad is biting her. It is now confirmed that she was sexually penetrated. He tried to drown her. I think I'm still traumatized by this. I got home early hours this morning, and I'm just deeply traumatized.
Yeah, difficult to imagine a situation where you aren't moved by something like this. What did you find when you got there, Dereleen?
We found a crime scene full of evidence. We found a crime scene with a broom, a mop that had blood on it. There was clothing in a little bath, her t-shirt, his t-shirt that had blood on it. I think something that was holding the roof of the shack, and as he threw her against the ceiling, it actually fell down. So we found a community that was traumatized, a distraught community. While we were standing there, we received a phone call from the mum saying that she was at the hospital, saying that she's made peace and she switched off the machines. And hence I said this child had passed on. But minutes later, when we confirmed with SABC, actually confirmed that this child is currently on life support at the hospital.
Gosh, we'll speak a bit more about what on earth leads to these kind of circumstances. But let me just gauge from you whether you know anything about the 2-year-old Dereleen, because we understand that it's the 4-year-old girl that's in hospital. What's happened to her brother?
When I was there yesterday, the brother came and he's 3 years old. You know, one wouldn't expect him to be able to articulate so clearly. And he just said to me, father threw her against the roof. Father threw against the roof. And while all this was happening, he was in the presence, observing all of this, eating. It also was brought to our attention that he too was violated earlier on this year. A case was opened where his ribs were broken, his arm was broken. I think his mom withdrew the case. It was brought to our attention that she knew a week ago. The doctors confirmed that this 4-year-old has been raped ongoing for the past month, where she said her daughter couldn't use the bathroom, and you know, as she sat on the toilet, and she noticed that a private part was torn, and this was a week or two ago. I'm wondering why she didn't report that then and then. I then sort of instructed the police, as per the Children's Act, to make an immediate arrest of the mom that was at the hospital with her daughter. She definitely doesn't have the best interest of her children at heart. This is as a result of substance use disorder. The father was high, he's been using it, is alleged, the entire week, and yeah, this is what I guess what drove him to do it's not an excuse, but it's an enabler.
Yeah. But gosh, Dereleen, these are really difficult details to take in. I have to ask you, as an activist that's been working in communities like Eldorado Park literally for years, to take us into your kind of thinking of what on earth you reckon is happening in some of these communities. And I ask this sincerely because it's really difficult to wrap your head around how individuals who are entrusted with the safety of these kids could allegedly do the things you're saying have been done.
I think what you're asking me this morning is the same thing that I've been grappling with all evening, all morning this morning when I got home, trying to figure out why this is happening. We both know and we can say that this is a systemic failure. This is as a result of, the high social ills in our community. That is, our communities are plagued by drug abuse, by gang violence, by the moral fiber of our families has just been torn apart, I think, for starters, the unemployment rate. But we can never use these social ills as an excuse, and we can never normalize what is happening and say because it's because of poverty, it's because of unemployment. We grew up in harsh conditions, and our parents didn't do this to us. So everyone is to be held to account this morning. Sorry, I'm just still at a loss for words and I'm rushing off to court. SABC has also failed this girl. You know, the fact that they could only respond to the crime scene a day later. They arrested the dad yesterday and just left and never ever returned, never bothered taking statements, didn't bother doing anything. Until last night when I had to contact the head of FCS unit, and she too wasn't notified by the local police station, the first responders who were on scene. So it's just really a really sad. I mean, I think if everyone was to listen to the visuals and the recordings of the neighbors, I also don't understand how they could record and the screaming and listening to her, being drowned and thrown around like that and not act. And last night when I said to them, "Hoekom het julle niks gedoen nie?" They said to me, they were scared, and they said to me, he becomes really, really violent, and this has been ongoing. So I think I'm just really in shock this morning. I'm trying to internalize how a biological father and a mom can do this to their own children.
Yeah, shock, disbelief, heartbroken, aghast, disillusioned. The list goes on and on and on. Dereleen James, I'll allow you to get ready for that court proceeding for these two parents who are meant to appear in court today. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. And you'll forgive me, I really are at a loss for words as I try to also wrap my head around something like this could happen. Dereleen James is an Action SA MP and an anti-drug activist.